All right. Hey, everyone, again. We're going to close out the sermon here. We're by the van, which is like our boat. And on the way down here from Chicago, we hit a lot of rain. Like, we went from the gas station to the van, and we were soaking wet when we got, and it was just barely like barely a walk. And so we've experienced rain in the Chicago area like way more than we've experienced rain ever in our lives. It's been really crazy. So we kind of had an experience this week like this where we were kind of freaking out a little bit. Well, should we pull over, or kind of what should we do? Because as you guys know, in New Mexico it doesn't rain very much.
I figured.
This is my buddy Chris, and Chris is the sound engineer for us tonight. And we were talking earlier this evening about some cool things. So I want Chris to talk a little bit about his experience and how he grew up, and to share with us a little bit about what he tries to control but can't always control, and so what we can all learn from this scripture together.
Okay.
Thanks, Chris.
No problem. Hey, my name's Chris Keaton. I grew up in the Indianapolis, Indiana area my entire life, pretty much. I grew up Irish Catholic pretty much my entire life, until today now. I definitely listen to a lot of different religious views and stuff like that, for sure. But like he was saying, the things that I couldn't really control about making people happy is I've been a sound engineer for a majority of my adult life. Ever since I've been about, I'd say 18 years old, I've been doing sound as professionally as I could be at 18 years old. And the one thing that I could say that is hard for me to make people happy is making a sound, making the sound at a show sound good. I could have a handful of people that come up to me and they'll shake my hand and they'll tell me they absolutely loved it and they thought it was the best show they've ever been to in their entire life. And then I might have a couple of people on the side that might say, hey, I thought the guitar was too loud, I thought the vocals were too soft, I thought this, I thought that, and they'll scold me for it. And I try to, at first when I was younger, I took that to heart, kind of hurt my feelings. But then when growing up, I'm 22 years old, I realized you just can't make everybody happy. But I definitely try to do my best to make everybody as happy as I can, as often as possible. I work a lot of different shows. I work at a lot of different venues. I tour a lot, so I'm definitely all over the country. And I definitely want to make sure that when a person comes to a show, that they are having the best experience that they can have possible. I want the sound good. I want the lights, I want the cleanliness, I want everything to be top-notch. And so I would just say that the hardest thing that I do to make people happy is just to, in their opinion, make it sound the way that they want it to sound.
And that's a really tough job, and I know, and we appreciate people. Chris is top-notch, and we appreciate good people doing sound, because we can be a great band, but if the person controlling the sound doesn't do a good job, it doesn't sound good to the people. And so they're the most important part of making us sound good, as long as we're doing our part and they're doing their part. And the first part of our sermon today was about that, putting our spiritual lives and our spiritual selves above the physical things. And you can hear in all the stories that Crystal told, that Dustin told, that Chris told, that they have something greater that they're trying to accomplish, but a lot of times the reaction or certain things before that don't work out exactly the way that they want them to. Crystal is trying to help people learn and help people understand things psychologically, trying to break new ground in the field of psychology. And Dustin is trying to give people a product that is better than what they have, and he's very passionate about the sales that he does. And Chris is very passionate about the sound and making people sound good and having people enjoy music, because music has affected his life, as he was sharing with me earlier, in very powerful ways, just like it's affected my life and Johnny's life and many, many people. And I know a lot of you guys out there. So that's the thing, is that you can hear in their stories, they're putting something bigger and spiritual above what is important. They try to control all the things, but they can only control what they're really going after. They can only control that they're driven to do something good for other people, and not maybe how people react or how things work out. Because sometimes we try really hard, but they just don't work out the way that they do. And that's has a lot to do with the other part of this sermon, which is fear. Now, Jesus kind of got on to the disciples about, he's like, why did you wake me up? He's like, why are you so afraid? And he said, you of little faith. So he attacked their faith a little bit. He said, look, if I'm on the boat here and I'm asleep, everything's going to be okay. You don't have to get all worried about it, right? And overreact to it. And so I think the lesson that Jesus teaches us over and over again is as long as we are grasping for something really good, eternally good out there, that we keep on pushing for those things, that good things are going to happen. And even if when times are tough and things get tough and we go through, stormy parts of our lives, we know that as long as we keep on doing the right thing and going for something bigger than ourselves and following God's example and leadership in our lives, that things are going to be okay, even on the smaller, physical level. Even though there's times that it's not, it's going to all work out because we're all working for that greater good together. The last thing here, in verse 27, it said, the men were amazed and said, what kind of man is this that even the winds and the sea obey him? And that's the thought I want to leave all of you guys with as we go about this week and we go and try to fight for the good things in our lives and in the world and the things that God is leading us toward. Is Jesus did this as an example to people so they knew what kind of man that he was. And that's a man that helps us to realize what we can control and what we can't control, and helps us to move toward the good things in the world and in our lives, and brings good people together like Chris and Crystal and Dustin today. And I'm glad you all got to meet them. They're very important people to me, and all of you are very important people, and I hope someday they can come to Albuquerque and meet all of you. And I miss you guys, and I'll see you again next week from a different location. Thanks a lot.